Phosphor Dot friends, Earl at thelogbook.com, here again on the Intellivision for the first time in a while, and I have a delightful homebrew arcade port to play for you today. I don't know if I can play it really well because I'm still fairly new to the game, but we are talking about Fantasy, which was never actually released for any vintage console back in the day. This is a homebrew release. As you can see, it's kind of styled as a Coleco release, but there's no evidence that Coleco was ever going to release this game for any console. Now, there have been attempts to port Fantasy for older hardware before. I know that there was a kind of a near-beer version on ColecoVision that if I'm not mistaken, it was never finished, or it didn't have all of the stages of the game, because Fantasy is a game with a lot of stages. There was also a TI-99 4A version that was started, but never completed, at some point, I believe, in the early 2000s. This version has the whole game in it, and so, and I believe this is a Dr. Port's homebrew. So Dr. Port's wins the trophy for bringing Fantasy home. Now, to be fair, I believe there was also an SNK arcade collection on the Xbox 360 that included Fantasy. Fantasy was an SNK game released in 1981 around the same time as Vanguard, and they were both the first arcade games to include the continue feature, where you could put a quarter in within a set amount of time of game over and continue from where you were, but with zero score. So both games being multi-stage, kind of long players, you could continue your progress at the cost of incrementing your score. So lots of features on this game. You can do basic voices if you do not have an IntelliVoice module. Actually, let's play it that way first. And also, because this cartridge version does not have the continue feature that the arcade game did, I strongly recommend 9 lives. Like a cat. Like this cat down here who's trying to get my attention while I am trying to record a video. So we have the music intact. I'm actually going to crank the music up a little bit before we continue, and obviously I am playing this in emulation. Now this particular stage is kind of brutal because it really makes no allowances for the fact that the game is now in a horizontal display rather than a vertical one. And yeah, the moment you walk, the moment you get into the line of fire of the cannon, it starts firing. But then there's a delay between shots, so there is a certain element of timing to it that wasn't quite as prevalent in the original arcade game. If we're not having the IntelliVoice, That's actually not terrible speech synthesis. Oh! This is why I strongly advise you to play with 9 lives. Oh! I may have to play this more than once, just fair warning. One life left. Well, the end. You are terrible at this. Alright, let's try it again. Now I'm going to switch it over to the Intellivoice so you can hear what it sounds like, and again with the 9 lives, hear what it sounds like with the actual samples from the arcade game that were ported over for the Intellivoice.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I mean, this is an amazing port of the arcade game.
Help me! Help me!
You guys come to me, because I need to deal with the cannon separately from...
Help me!
persnickety pirates.
Help me!
Yes, dear. Coming, dear.
Let's go.
You can only descend so far before you wind up hitting the trees. And remember, as with the arcade game, every other gorilla just let gravity do its thing. Oh! But don't die in the process.
Let's go.
Some of the gorillas you can fly kind of low over. Every other one you need to keep some altitude and let Sir Isaac Newton help you out. I like getting 500 points for the fact that gravity exists. Oh! Almost there.
Let's go.
All right.
Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me!
Here, I can't even help myself.
Help me!
Just going to have to be patient. He's very persistent, though.
Help me!
Oh.
Help me!
What?
Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me!
I am trying to help you. Alright. Every sample. They've got every sample in here. Including Funky Town.
Let's go.
There's my tiger. I would still very much like to know the thought process. That was, okay, we have a stage where there's a jungle and there's a tiger. And there are natives throwing witch doctor looking things at you. Oh yeah, let's score it with Funky
Let's
Town.
go.
Because there's nothing about this situation that doesn't cry out for a little bit of lips ink. Or dying because I ran into a tree.
Let's go.
I guess the trees are poisonous. Alright, how far along are we? We don't have that far to go.
Let's go.
I'm just worrying that this stage is... seemingly easy stage is exhausting all of my lives. Alright.
Help me! Help me!
Yes, I am trying.
Help me! Help me! Help me!
How I died that time. I mean, aside from painfully, I mean, that's always a safe assumption.
Help me! Help me!
Okay, so someone with helicopters colluded with natives and tigers and pirates.
Let's go.
kind of flickery helicopters. Oh, boy, I was doing so well. I made it a third of the way, but I have only one life left.
Let's go.
I'm used to seeing that kind of flickering going on with an Intellivision title. Would it have killed them to have a continue feature?
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Apparently it would have. So we'll give it another try here. Make this a slightly longer than usual video, which I'm going to justify just by virtue of this being...
Help me!
Oops. Okay. A port of my all-time favorite arcade game. Alright, pirates.
Help
Over
me!
here. So I can key you.
Help me!
Alright.
Let's go.
Help! Help! Help!
Hi, gorilla.
Help! Help! Help!
I'm worried that I used
Let's
up
go.
all of my mojo on the previous game. Perhaps I shouldn't speak that into existence.
Let's go.
Repeatedly.
Let's go.
Help! Help! Help!
Oh no!
Let's go.
Help! Help! Help!
Hi, gorilla.
Help! Help! Help!
Hello, gorilla.
Help! Help! Help!
Dead balloonist.
Let's go.
Oh.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I didn't even get to... Okay. Okay, yeah, I think I clearly used up all of my mojo on that first game. This is a fantastic port of fantasy. About the only thing that... And I'm not sure if this is a criticism of the game, or just that I need to make a mental adjustment playing the Intellivision port of it, which in every other respect seems to be fantastic. I just wish a little bit more adjustment had happened in changing it from an arcade game with a vertical play space to a TV-oriented game with a horizontal playfield. Because there are some elements of the game that, with that horizontal shrinking, makes this really brutal compared to the arcade game. But otherwise, fantastic. Highly recommend it.